You're standing in a gas station at 11 at night. The fluorescent lights are humming. You didn't plan to stop here, but now you're holding a candy bar in one hand and a bag of chips in the other, and some part of your brain is lighting up like a pinball machine. You know you're not actually starving. You had dinner 3 hours ago. So why does this feel so urgent? The real answer is way stranger than you think. Your brain isn't malfunctioning in that gas station. It's running a program that's over 1 million years old, and that program was never designed for a world with vending machines. Here's the thing you have to understand first. For almost all of human history, sugar and fat were not everywhere. They were rare, they were valuable, and they were, quite literally, the difference between surviving a hard season and not making it through one. Think about what your ancestors' environment actually looked like. No grocery stores, no refrigerators, no delivery apps, just whatever the land gave up, and it didn't give up much, and it definitely didn't give it up on a schedule. A piece of ripe fruit might show up for a few weeks a year. Honey might be guarded by an angry swarm of bees at the top of a tree. Fat, especially animal fat, meant a successful hunt, which was rare and dangerous and far from guaranteed. So evolution did something clever. It built you a brain that treats sugar and fat like winning the lottery. Not politely interested, obsessed. Because the humans who felt obsessed with high-calorie food were the ones who ate it fast, remembered exactly where they found it, and survived long enough to pass that obsession down to you. This is where the anthropologist Katherine Milton comes in. She spent years studying the diets of wild primates, comparing what they eat to what early humans likely ate. Her research found something striking. Wild fruit, the kind our ancestors and their primate relatives actually had access to, is nowhere near as sweet as the fruit you buy today. It's smaller, more fibrous, and far lower in sugar. Which means your ancestors' sense of sweet was calibrated to a world that barely offered any. Now picture what happens when a brain built for scarcity meets a candy bar engineered for maximum sweetness. It's not a fair fight. Your brain sees that candy bar and reads it as an emergency opportunity. Grab it. Eat it fast. Store the memory. This might not come around again, but sugar's only half the story. Fat plays an even bigger role, and for a very specific reason. Fat is the most calorie-dense thing you can put in your body. Gram for gram, it holds more than twice the energy of sugar or protein. To an ancestor whose next meal was never guaranteed, fat wasn't just food. It was banked energy. It was insurance against a bad week, a bad month, or a brutal winter. This idea has a name in evolutionary biology. It's called the thrifty gene hypothesis, first proposed by the geneticist James Neel back in 1962. Neel's theory was that humans evolved to be incredibly efficient at storing fat whenever food was available, because feast and famine used to alternate constantly. Your body wasn't preparing for a future of climate-controlled supermarkets. It was preparing for the very real possibility that tomorrow might bring nothing at all. So your craving for a greasy burger or a slice of pizza isn't a personal failing. It's your body doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just doing it in a world that changed faster than your biology could keep up with. And that mismatch is the real twist here. Evolution is slow, painfully slow. It works in generations, not in decades. Your genes are still mostly the genes of a hunter-gatherer who might go days without a solid meal, but your environment changed almost overnight, at least on an evolutionary timescale. Farming showed up, then food processing, then refrigeration, then fast food on every corner. All of that happened in a tiny sliver of human history, way too fast for your instincts to catch up. The Harvard evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman describes this kind of gap as a mismatch between the world our bodies were built for and the world we actually live in now. Cravings, cavities, and a lot of modern health struggles trace back to exactly this kind of mismatch. Your body isn't broken. It's just running ancient software on brand new hardware. Let's get specific about what's happening inside your brain when that craving hits, because it's not just willpower versus temptation. It's chemistry. When you eat something sweet or fatty, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in nearly every reward your brain recognizes. That dopamine hit doesn't just feel good in the moment. It teaches your brain a lesson. It says, remember this. Remember exactly where you found it, what it looked like, what it smelled like, so you can find it again. This is why you can recall the smell of your grandmother's kitchen decades later, or the exact taste of your favorite childhood snack. Your brain didn't file that memory away by accident. High-calorie food gets a VIP pass into your memory system because for most of human history, remembering where the good food was could keep you alive. Now here's the part that really messes with people. Modern food companies didn't invent this system, but they figured out how to aim it with terrifying precision. Ever wonder why you rarely see anyone binge on plain boiled chicken breast the way you might binge on a sleeve of cookies? It's because boiled chicken doesn't hit that same ancient jackpot combination. Cookies do. Your brain isn't weak, it's precisely targeted. There's another piece of this puzzle that most people never think about, and it has to do with your ancestors' calorie budget. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer energy expenditure have found that early humans burned an enormous number of calories just surviving day to day, walking for miles to find food, carrying children, building shelter, defending territory. All of that activity demanded serious fuel, so a brain that craved dense, high-calorie food wasn't being greedy, it was being efficient. Fat and sugar delivered the most energy per bite, which meant less time spent searching and more energy banked for whatever came next. Craving the richest available food was, quite literally, a survival strategy. This also explains something that trips a lot of people up. Why does junk food taste better than healthy food, even when you know better? It's not that your taste buds are broken. It's that your taste buds are ancient, and they're still using a scoring system built for a world where finding fat and sugar was rare and worth celebrating. Kale never had to compete for your attention back then, because kale won't kill you if you skip it for a week. A dense pocket of animal fat, on the other hand, might have been the thing standing between your ancestors and starvation. So what do you do with all of this? You're not going to out-willpower a million years of evolution through sheer stubbornness. But understanding the wiring changes the fight. Once you know your brain treats sugar and fat like ancient emergency supplies, you can stop blaming yourself for wanting them. That craving isn't a character flaw. It's a survival instinct firing in a world it was never designed for. The goal isn't to silence that instinct. It's to work with it instead of constantly losing a fight. You never had a fair shot at winning in the first place. Some researchers point to a simple fix, one that doesn't require fighting your biology at all. Pairing high-reward foods with more fiber, protein, and whole ingredients slows down how fast sugar hits your bloodstream, which softens that dopamine spike your brain is chasing. You're not tricking your brain. You're just feeding the ancient system in a way that's closer to what it actually evolved to expect. Think about how this plays out in an ordinary week. You promise yourself you'll eat clean all week. Monday goes fine. Then Wednesday night hits. You're tired, stressed. Maybe you skipped lunch, and suddenly a bag of chips looks like the best idea you've had all day. That's not a coincidence, and it's definitely not random bad luck. Stress and exhaustion push your body into a state that mimics scarcity. Your ancient wiring reads low energy and high stress as a signal that resources might be running out, and it responds the only way it knows how. It screams for the densest, fastest fuel available. That's why willpower always seems to crack at night when you're tired, rather than at 10 in the morning when you're fresh and rested. You're not failing. You're being out-argued by a survival system that's been refining its pitch for a million years. There's also a social layer to all of this that rarely gets mentioned. For most of human history, sharing a rich, high-calorie meal wasn't just about eating. It was a bonding ritual. A successful hunt meant a feast, and a feast meant the whole group gathered, ate together, and reinforced the social ties that kept everyone alive through leaner times. That's part of why a slice of birthday cake or a holiday dinner still feels emotionally loaded today, even though nobody at the table is worried about starving through the winter. Your brain still treats rich, shared food as a marker of safety, celebration, and belonging. The chemistry hasn't caught up to the fact that the celebration is now a Tuesday office party instead of a successful mammoth hunt. It's worth asking why this mismatch feels so much sharper now than it did even a few generations ago. Part of the answer is portion size. A typical restaurant plate today can carry 2 or 3 times the calories that a single meal offered even 80 years ago. Part of it is availability. Your ancestors might walk for hours before finding a beehive worth raiding. You can find sugar and fat within 100 feet of almost anywhere you're standing right now, any hour of the day or night. The craving itself hasn't changed much at all. What changed is the sheer density and constant availability of the thing your brain is chasing, which turns an occasional ancient windfall into a background hum you're negotiating with dozens of times a day. None of this means you're powerless. Understanding where the craving comes from actually hands you something useful, because you stop treating every craving as a moral test you're failing. Some researchers who study eating behavior have found that people who understand the evolutionary roots of craving tend to feel less shame around it, and less shame, oddly enough, tends to lead to better choices, not worse ones. Guilt doesn't quiet an ancient survival signal. It just adds stress on top of it, which, as you now know, only makes the craving louder. There's something almost humbling in all of this. Every time you feel that pull towards something sweet or rich, you're feeling the exact same instinct that kept your ancestors alive through droughts, harsh winters, and lean hunting seasons. It's not a glitch. It's a legacy. A tiny, flickering signal from thousands of generations of humans who didn't know if their next meal was coming, passed all the way down to you, standing in a gas station at 11 at night. So next time you feel that urgent, almost magnetic pull toward the candy aisle, remember what's actually happening. You're not weak. You're ancient. Your brain is running the oldest survival program it has, in a world that filled every shelf with exactly what that program was built to crave.
If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Hit that notification bell for more. See you on the next one.